The year is 1973. Thanks to their rapidly shrinking weight, size, and cost, CB radios are becoming more and more popular all across the United States, as the system has begun to transcend its exclusive usage by truckers, small businesses, and hardcore enthusiasts, now attracting amateur hobbyists from all across the country. This means more and more people monitoring the airwaves, listening for chatter on the various frequencies. It's thanks to this rise in popularity that on August 7th, in the foothills of central New Mexico, one terrified boy named Larry is able to relay his desperate situation to multiple witnesses, an event that would spark a week-long search and end in a mystery that continues to this day. The first to receive the distress call managed to ascertain, between the boy's uncontrollable sobbing, that he had been out rabbit hunting with his dad when their red and white truck had overturned, landing in a ditch after the father had collapsed at the wheel. Over the next few days, a massive search began for the overturned vehicle, with the call estimated to be originating from the Manzano Mountain area. By the 11th, 4 days later, the final search efforts were tapering off, with the search finally being called off by the 13th, as the boy could no longer be contacted. By the 24th, the state police chief announced that all leads had been exhausted, and that there was no concrete evidence that Larry had actually existed. A tragic accident or elaborate hoax? Let's examine the evidence. The desperate calls for help were definitely real. Multiple individuals confirmed making contact with Larry over the course of the 8-day period, with an army colonel reporting having a 3-hour call with Larry. The problem is, the locations varied wildly. The first contact was established by a Californian man, and operators in Wyoming and even so far as Canada reported making contact with the helpless boy. While there is such thing as talk skip or shooting skip, where certain atmospheric conditions allow radio traffic to travel long distances, even into other countries, it's pretty unlikely. A more substantial hole in the story relates to the length of time that the distress signal was active. People reported talking to Larry intermittently for over a week, by which time an overturned truck's battery would have surely gone flat, or the boy passed out from exhaustion. 3 days after the initial contact, a rescue worker flying over the mountains in a helicopter managed to make contact with the boy, but he now called himself David and reported seeing flashes of the helicopter's searchlight as it flew over the area. The boy never revealed any substantial details about himself or his family. Rescuers were unable to get the boy to reveal his full name, or even his hometown, to narrow down the search or contact relatives. One could chalk this up to the boy being traumatized and afraid, which often does prevent young children from speaking coherently, but it does give the hoax theory more credit. Finally, all missing person reports related to a boy named Larry were either later resolved or deemed unrelated to the case. The common trend online seems to be dismiss this case as a hoax, perpetuated by multiple bad actors throughout the United States, leading rescue forces on an ultimately fruitless endeavor. Those who spoke to the initial distress call, however, are convinced the cry for help was real. The signal from within the New Mexico territory was far weaker than those outside, and the emotion in the boy's voice was far too real for those early responders. Perhaps it was all an elaborate hoax, a week-long joke in bad taste. Or maybe the initial call was real, the evidence now long concealed by the undergrowth in the unforgiving New Mexico wilderness.